Hi, Dan. Welcome to the NTM Growth Marketing Podcast. I am excited to be speaking with you today.
Thanks, Andrew. It's good to be here.
Let's start off and hear a little bit more about your organization and what is your role at the company.
Sure. So my official title at Sketch is the product studio lead. But recently I've been focusing more on marketing, and Sketch Development is a software development services company and software consultancy. So a lot of companies, normally enterprises, call us when they're having a hard time delivering products on time, or when they're delivering products, but the products aren't making a difference. They feel like they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing, but it's not working. So maybe they've migrated to the cloud, but they're not saving any money, or they are missing deadlines for their e-commerce platform, and they've got product about to expire, or it really could be anything. And we work with them either on a contract service basis, or we sometimes embed someone in their team. So we kind of help with transformations of the way they deliver products, but we also have developers who get embedded with those teams and kind of lead by example.
What does the day in the life of Dan look like?
Lately it's been all over the place. So I kind of hinted at this, but a few until about a month or two ago, I was more focused on trying to launch products that our software developers make when they're on the bench in between consulting engagements. And so I recently transitioned to marketing more for the core service business. And a day in the life, it's typically focused on digital marketing, I would say. It's a lot of content creation, content strategy. Um, I'd say that's probably been the bulk of it recently. Some event marketing preparation.
Are you seeing events come back now? I've been talking to some other marketers of there was the COVID slump and people are starting to get back in real life now and are really enjoying it.
I think so. We have a lot of events, and we host events and we go to events. And I think that that seems like it's one of the channels that works well for us
Mhm.
historically. And especially now, I think events are kind of coming back because people are just so sick of being inundated with high volume, low quality content,
Mhm.
whether it's through social media, whether it's through AI written blog posts. And I do use AI to create blog posts. So, I'm guilty of it too, I guess, to a degree. I like to think that I'm using it responsibly, but I guess everything's up for debate. And you can't really fake an event so much. You know, you get people together in person, and I think people have missed that. Like you said, during the COVID slump, at first it was really cool to work from home. And now I feel like when I talk to colleagues and friends, people kind of miss the office sometimes
Mhm.
and just miss seeing people. So I think having events is great, and there's just really no better channel than getting face to face with someone.
Tell us a little bit more about a current marketing strategy execution you're working on that's proving to be fruitful.
Sure. So besides the events, I'm really focused on SEO. I know a lot of
Really,
people,
even in the midst of everything going on?
yeah, yeah, and I know a lot of people say that now is a bad time for SEO, just with zero-click searches and things like that. But we've had some pretty good success recently with really technical content, especially if we get people involved who are um, subject matter experts. So we have one of our cloud engineer is a guy named Ryan Jensen, and he's um, pretty much single-handedly helped us become AWS select partners. Just one of the best people in the world, probably at everything related to AWS cloud. And he's written some great blog posts that do really well. It's not super high volume stuff in terms of search volume, but people find it and then they stay on the page for a long time because he's guiding them through how to set up an SFTP server in great detail and showing them exactly how to do it. And he creates a video where he walks them through, and he includes snippets of code, so it's not that kind of bait and switch where you see a lot of blog posts, especially the low quality ones or the ones that are heavily written by AI, where it's like, the title is how do I set up an SFTP server on AWS? And then you click into it and it's like, what is AWS? What is the cloud? And all of these kind of basic things that everybody already knows if they're searching for something like that. So I think that there is still room if you are creating in-depth content that is especially technical, um, to get some traffic organically. Again, some of these topics are pretty low volume, but I also think it is, if you find the right ones and you're getting a low volume of high intent traffic, I think that's still worth it.
If you were going to have a humble brag on yourself, what is something you feel like you bring innovative to the marketing department?
I would say that probably my strength as a marketer here is that I know just enough about the technical side of the business to be dangerous. So I
Are you
actually,
more right brain thinking creative or left brain?
mm, I enjoy creative thinking most.
Mhm.
I actually, in school though, I feel like my best subject was always like math or physics. Like I think I'm better at that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But I really enjoy the creative pursuits. And I do have some experience in the technical world. I've never been a software developer, but I did go to a coding boot camp. I was an IT business analyst for a little bit. I've been on the product side of things. So I would be totally worthless, like trying to code almost anything. But I know just enough that I can kind of talk the talk a little bit, and I think that
Mhm.
that helps because when I do sit down with a subject matter expert, I can kind of latch on to bits and pieces of what they're saying and then regurgitate it in a way that makes sense and kind of like funnel that expertise into something that's more like a marketing material and um, might appeal to the business people as well.
So you can play intermediary really well between some of the actual engineers and the rest of the marketing department.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like the guy in Office Space that it is the go-between for the developers and the business people.
Nice. Nice. Well, speaking of tech, and we're talking about AI a little bit earlier in the dialogue. How has AI impacted your role as a marketer?
Sure. So I actually do use AI. I think that it still messes up a lot, which gives me some comfort because I feel like we're at least I've got a little bit more time before it takes my job. But I think that I guess this isn't really like a hot take anymore. I think a lot of people have said this, but um, as much as I think that just generating something with AI and then putting it onto your blog is a horrible idea, I have found that it can help me create quality content a lot faster. So there are a few tools and combinations of tools that I might recommend.
Mhm.
Uh, One is that I think that Claude is a little bit of a better writer than ChatGPT. And I just found out about something that I haven't tried yet. I think it's called Find. I guess that's how you pronounce it. It's Phind. It's like an AI search engine. And I've heard that if you pair that with Claude, you can
Mhm.
get some really good results. So I'll be experimenting with that. The other one is ChatGPT. It has that deep research feature, which is
Mhm.
great because it will actually, cite sources and go a little bit deeper and give you a lot more. So even though I don't think that ChatGPT is a great writer, I don't like its style.
Mhm.
It is now really good at finding information. And then I think
As
that
your
if
thought partner?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if you use that deep research feature and kind of ask it to like cite sources, I think you're kind of mitigating the risk of hallucinations and things like that. And I always still check, um, but I really like that. And then I think that pairs well with SEMrush and some of the stuff they're doing with AI. So they've got a topic generator. I don't love SEMrush's AI text generator, but I do like the Content Shake AI integration with SEMrush, and that has content ideas and SEO briefs, which I think pairs well with if you're going to use ChatGPT, Deep Research, or Claude, or what have you. I think that works pretty well, and then you can run it through Content Shake again and kind of get feedback on it.
Is AI being adopted company wide at your organization?
Yeah, I would say that we're pretty heavily into AI. So a lot of our developers are one of the things that makes Sketch great is that um, it's it's very rare um, that we can't do something that one of our clients asks us to do. Because if we don't have someone who has that skill already, um, I've never really seen anything like it. The closest thing I can compare it to is like in the Matrix when Neo just like downloads a new skill into himself. Like we have a lot of people here who will just like they'll like go lock themselves in a room for a day and just consume a ton of like YouTube videos and tinker around with things and just pick up a new technology. And so we're actually hosting an AI Tinkerers meeting here in St. Louis pretty soon, and we have a lot of people who are experimenting with that. We have people who have created their own language learning models,
Mhm.
and yeah, I would say that we're we're hopping on the AI trend for sure.
I know you threw out a handful of AI tools that you're using. Any others that you didn't give a shout out to that you find yourself going back to on a weekly basis?
I would say those are the big ones. I love Canva. I
Mhm.
use Canva's AI periodically as a starting place. I never really publish anything that I make with AI and Canva, but periodically I will use it as kind of like a proof of concept, and then I'll send that to a graphic designer and say, "Hey, can you make this look better or more on brand?"
That's a pretty common answer, actually. And one of the things other marketing executives share is just, I can build something in Canva an hour myself as I just know exactly what I want to do. And I just don't like, sending it to a designer or an agency and then it takes a week to come back to me, unless it's going to be something, very, very, public facing, I can just do this myself in an hour on Canva and handle it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do. I haven't published a lot of Canva's AI generated stuff, but I publish other things from Canva all the time. I mean, like their templates and everything.
Mhm.
I'm not a great graphic designer. I just don't have like really good style like that.
Same here.
But you can, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just, it sounds like a cop out, but I really just don't think I don't have whatever, like gene, that you have to have or like sense of style to be a good graphic designer. But what I can do is, kind of shop around in Canva's huge library of templates and pick out one that I like and then just change the colors to be on brand. And, I do that all the time.
So, Dan, my last question is if you can share any links, social media handles, best ways to follow up with you or your organization.
Sure. Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I haven't been posting a ton recently, but I do check it at least a few times a week. Um, I would say check out the Sketch website. I just went through this week and ungated all of our content. So if you want to check out sketchdev.io, you can see all of our old webinars and resources. We have mural templates on there for how to run better retros, things like that. And you don't even have to put in your email address. So now I won't follow up with you after you check those out. So that would probably be the best place to start.
Perfect, Dan. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Before we jump into our next guest, we want to take a moment to tell you about our marketing mastermind cohort. No typical marketers. If you are a marketing executive looking to connect with like-minded professionals, this is the space for you. It's more than just a Discord group. It's your exclusive ticket to monthly roundtable meetings where we have group discussions about advanced marketing strategies, share insights, and solve real world challenges like implementing AI agents into your marketing. Membership is exclusive and by application only. If you're ready to take your marketing game to the next level, apply now using the link in the description below. We can't wait to see you there. Now, back to the episode.
Hi, Allison. Welcome to the NTM Growth Marketing Podcast. I am excited to be speaking with you today.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Allison, let's start off and hear a little bit more about your organization. What is your role at the company? What does the day in the life of Allison look like?
Oh gosh, it really varies. company is AV Writing Services. So that means that I like to say that means I write content that goes onto your website to tell people who you are, what you do, and why we should all care. And I work in SEO best practices as well as marketing strategy into the content that I write so that it can be as effective as possible. I am founder, owner, payroll, HR, all of the strategist, all of the things. And a day in my life really varies out again because I do all of the things. There are business development days and admin days and all of those things. And even my client work has varied, especially as I've gotten more into the SEO world. I started out writing, and I still do a fair amount of writing. It's just that blogging and website content has gotten so much more competitive since I started in, I think it was 2012, that I've had to work in SEO and learn all about what makes Google happy, and that has led to not only keyword research, but then like looking at charts and analytics and figuring out what it means when your traffic goes up or down or when Google launches a core algorithm update. So a lot of my time is spent educating clients and friends and my network on what it is I actually do and why it matters and how it can improve their business. As well as calming people down when their traffic doesn't go the way they like and trying to explain to them what's going on and how we can adjust. So, but at the end of the day, I still love those days where I can just sit down for an hour or two and just me and my computer and write.
How has SEO been impacted as a result of AI?
That is interesting. I mean, short term, we're seeing a lot of crappy content out there because people are using AI to write. I put write in air quotes because it doesn't actually write or create or generate anything. It just scrapes what's already out there and repurposes it for us and goes, here, is this what you're looking for? So if you know how to use AI right, it can be great. But if you're just putting in a prompt and copying and pasting without checking that it's at least accurate, not to mention in line with your brand and speaking to your target audience and all that good stuff, it's just more white noise. So in that sense, it's making it really easy to stand out in the crowd of all that white noise. What I think is going to be interesting is since ChatGPT, I mean, everyone was using ChatGPT as a search engine when it launched, which I did not recommend. And then they launched Search GPT, which is designed as a search engine. So that I think is going to be more interesting in terms of especially those informational searches when people aren't looking to buy something, they're just looking to get information on something. That is how we got a lot of people, especially early in the buyer journey, is those informational searches. And we get them to our website and they read our awesome content. And then we get them to subscribe to our newsletter or sign up for our webinar or whatever that next step in the buyer journey is. And now we're losing that because they read an AI generated, repurposed kind of summary and they go, okay, great, that's what I need to know. And they leave without even seeing our website, much less clicking through to it. So I don't know if we've really seen, I'm pretty sure we have not seen the full ramifications of that yet, but it'll be interesting. It seems like now, from what I'm hearing, the goal is going to be to get those AI tools to mention your brand instead of trying to actually get them to your website. That way, if they keep digging in and doing some more research on these topics and on your industry, if they keep seeing your name come up again and again, it's going to build that trust and then they're going to go looking for you.
Mm-hmm. What is a marketing strategy that you're currently deploying that you've seen as being successful, even amidst some of the AI changes, just the Google rating system changes that kind of come out of whim, it seems like, from the outside looking in?
Yeah, well, the thing about the Google updates is, I mean, yeah, there are some things that go wonky, but their goal is always to make it easier to get people to the content they're looking for, to quality content that actually answers their questions. So if you're doing that, ideally you should be helped by each of these core updates. You can certainly make the argument that some of the things Google is doing when it updates doesn't make any sense. But a lot of them really do make sense. A lot of them, like it has a better understanding of how our language works so that it can understand queries in full sentences, which is important now that more people are using voice search and the way they ask questions and look for information is changing. But at the end of the day, if you're creating high quality content that answers people's questions, that you should benefit from these core updates. Again, that's not always true. There's always, technical stuff going on that can go wonky. But at the end of the day, I'm actually behind the core updates because I know that's always their goal. So yeah, always create content. And that's what I see works for my clients, is not just the SEO and the content, because that's super important, but also have the technical side lined up, have that funnel built, and understand what that funnel looks like is really important, especially for a lot of my clients. I work with a lot of people with a really long funnel. So it's not always going to make sense to go from blog posts to, hey, buy our stuff. I do work with some of those clients, so that's fine. But there are some people where it's like, no, we want to get to know a little bit more about you before we take that step.
Can you explain what you mean by long funnel? Do you mean that it's a
Yes.
long buying process? Is it a
Yes.
sensitive subject where they need higher degree of trust built up?
Yes, good question. I'm sorry, I should have qualified that. Yeah, a longer buyer journey. We're going from, awareness to being able to say, okay, yes, I want to work with you, is a bit longer than, oh, that's a cool ad on Instagram, I'll click buy, right?
Right.
We've seen all those and we've all done that. But if you're investing in something that has a higher price point, hopefully will last you a while, is something you really need to make sure you get right and the person you're hiring gets right. There's going to be more investigation done before you hire. There might be multiple people in the buying process. I tend to work with a lot of attorneys and financial planners, which I call they're technically B2C, but they operate a lot more like a B2B, just because, like, for example, with a B2B, you usually have more than one person making that hiring or buying decision. And the same thing with attorneys and financial planners. There might be a spouse or a business partner or someone else involved in that hiring decision. So that's the kind of thing that we look at as far as, all right, what is this buyer journey? Where are they? What are they comfortable with when they encounter each piece of content? So what makes sense as the next step in the buyer journey, and how are we going to get them to take that next step?
We've worked with much more B2B focused organizations as well over the years. Sometimes I'm envious that, like, I bought this mic in a one-click Amazon purchase.
See, there you go.
Good price, some reviews, no other thought process. But yeah, to your points, attorneys, when we had our estate plan done, it's a sensitive subject. Need my wife to be on board with it, develop that comfortability with the attorney, make sure the price is okay. It was like a 2-month process for us to feel ready to go.
Yeah.
So Alison, to wrap us up, can you give any references to any AI tools that you yourself have started to use, and whether, I know you're referenced ChatGPT, whether it's that LLM, other LLMs, or maybe a standalone software that you've really enjoyed using?
Yeah, ChatGPT is the big one, and it is one that I use a lot. And I mean, I use it for like ideation and bouncing ideas off of a robot, I guess, rather than a person. My dog's not really helpful with bouncing ideas off of. She just kind of gives me that blank look. So yeah, bouncing ideas off of it is great. I don't know if I've come across another LLM that I like more than ChatGPT. There are certainly some that have been out there, longer than ChatGPT, and there are issues with all of them. But I'm a writer, so I don't really need it to help me write stuff other than, like I said, ideation and research and bouncing ideas off of it. But I really cannot draw to save my life. So I have loved the AI companion in Canva. Actually, I can do a little bit of the Canva work in terms of, taking elements and putting them together, but being able to go to Canva and just say, make me this image, has been a life changer.
That's one of the most common answers to this question. So you're not alone. When I'm talking with marketing executives, they give this, this is how they more or less explain it. So you're saying, if, traditionally I would need to have my freelancer, my agency do it, and back and forth, and it might be a week-long process, and I already know what I want. It's not a massive overhaul of anything. I can go in there, tweak around myself for an hour, and it's done, versus this being a 7-day process previously.
Yeah.
So Alison, to wrap us up, can you share any links, social media handles, best ways to follow up with you?
Yeah, well, my website is AV, as in my initials, Alison Verhalen. So that is AVWritingServices.com. You can get a lot of information about me on there. I'm on LinkedIn as Alison Verhalen. I'm on YouTube as Alison Verhalen Content Marketer. So yeah, check me out there.
Perfect, Alison. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.